On this episode, Stiffen the Vertebrae. Hey everybody, this is the Quarter Show, and we're talking about stiffening the vertebrae for sales, which means we talked earlier at the end of last year, we talked earlier about sales and transitioning from sales over to closing. So you have the personas, you have the selling persona, you have the closing persona, and it matters, right? Because in the closing persona, there's a part where you obviously want to be cordial in the sales, aspect, and you still want to be cordial in the closing aspect, but the prospect sometimes will push back. They'll challenge you a little bit. They'll push back on cycles, and they'll push back on terms, and they'll push back on price, and they'll do different things. And I think you run into salespeople that are worried. A lot of people do this. A lot of people are guilty of this. You're worried about losing a cycle. You're worrying about losing a cycle. You're almost there. You're almost closed, right? You're not quite closed, but you're almost closed. And you're worried about losing it. You're worried about losing it. So you say yes to everything, right? And so you propitiate. You look at this word propitiate. It's essentially giving up everything, giving into everything, essentially, and appeasing everything type thing. And it's not a good play. There has to be give and take. There has to be give and take in sales. And when you're closing, it's all the more. Often it's easier to close, right? It's easier to close if you say no, if you pull away, if you push back sometimes, and just give. Like they say, price and terms and this and that. You're bending over backwards and you're just giving away the farm, which salespeople often do. They give away the entire farm, and you think that's going to win the deal, but it's not. You're going to lose respect. You're going to lose traction, and you're potentially going to either lose the deal or you're going to win the deal, and the deal is really not going to be that great. It's not going to be a high integrity deal. It's not going to be a good deal for the company and for you. And the part of your job as a salesperson is like to make sure you're doing deals for the company, right? Deals that are good for everybody. They're good for the client, yes, but they're good for the company as well. And look, anybody can give away the farm and make a sale, but you hurt margin, you hurt the company, you hurt your relationship with that prospect because they don't respect you, or because now going forward, they're going to think that, or if you sold something in the past and then you really do it poorly in this deal, they now think that you screwed them on all the other deals and you've been holding out, and so now they expect that going forward. It doesn't create good behavior. It doesn't create a good deal. So it's okay to push back. It's okay to say no. And sometimes you run into a situation where they say, oh, I got to do this term. Like you close the deal and they sign off and they say, we can't do these terms. We need to do pay you over 90 days or something. And if that doesn't suit your terms, that's not when you're on your contract. It doesn't suit what your company. You have to challenge that. You have to push back, and that means you might just call them up and say, look. Most salespeople, by the way, will just say, oh, okay, whatever. And then they roll over. They roll over and just do whatever. You can't do that. You have to essentially say, look, I really get it. You pick up the phone, increase your level of confront. You pick up the phone and sort of push back and challenge it. Stiffen the vertebrae, challenge it. And you can just call them and say, listen, totally understand. These are the terms. I can't do that. I factually cannot do it. We're structured this way. This is the contract. Can you go get that rectified? Can you go help handle this? Or who do I need to speak to get this handled? I got to get this fixed so I can get you over and into production, or so I can get this into, deliver this product or do this. I really want to get that handled, but we got to iron this part out. We got to get that part fixed. Can you help me get that fixed? Now, salespeople will take the problem away from the prospect as well. They'll take the problem away from the prospect. In other words, they'll try and solve the problem for them as opposed to delivering it and creating a problem for them. Now, let me clarify that point. It's like you want to create a problem for them in that scenario. You don't want to be like, oh, I'll figure it out, I'll work it all out. That's not the way to go. You want to be like, when you present it that way and say, listen, who do you need to handle? Or look, we can't do that. I want to, we can't, I wish we could. Can you get this solved? The second you hang up, you're delivering a problem to them, and they're like, oh God, they're like, oh man. And now they know they're stonewalled. And so they're going, okay. They go back, they go to the CFO, they go to their legal department, they go to whoever and they say, they're not going to do it, they can't do it, but I need to do this, I need to do this project. We're sold on this, we want to do it, we're already there, we signed off on the contract, or we're about to sign off on the contract. Everybody's on board with this. These are the terms, I don't know what to say. And the person's going to buckle to some degree, and they're going to be like, okay, well, those are the terms, all right, fine. They come back, they go, yep, we're good, we got it solved, we're good. They wouldn't solve the problem. It's better for them to solve the problem than you have to deal with that problem and try and take ownership of their problem and solve it entirely. Yes, you want to make the sale easy. I'm not trying to counteract anything I've said it before. Yes, make the sale easy. Yes, make it easy to buy. But if there's something in your sale that's non-optimum, that becomes very funky and it's outside of your contract and it creates a problem for you, it creates something that's non-optimum for you or for the company, you have to push back.
And this is actually, he's describing a scenario that happened with me this morning. And when I sat down and saw it, right before Robert came in the office, I sat down, I saw the email, they're asking me to alter our terms and this and that and the other thing and everything else. Like it's a very nice new client and multi-billion-dollar beautiful client, great project we're going to do. And I sit there and my first response is, yeah, okay, we'll do it, right? And it's not because I'm like propitiative or weak or something like that. It's because I'm social, because I want to help. And I don't want to give somebody else a problem, and I feel like I can take on a burden, and I feel like I just want them to get what they want, because that'll ultimately get us what we want. And I just want to help. And there's goodness to that, but not at certain parts of technically speaking, in a sales cycle, right? From a sheer technical aspect, a cold logic Vulcan aspect, you have to look at where are we at, and what is good for both sides, right? And so that was my first thought, and within half a second, my next thought was, in a little emotion on it, we're not going to get bullied.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to bully Richter. Those are our terms. They said okay to it, and now they're going to sign off on it. Anyway, I got a little like that about it, but I was like, I'm going to push back.
And it's up to you to protect your company, to protect your position, right? And yes, it has to be win-win, and people talk about this, and there's some dispute there from really top negotiators about whether win-win is actually even a thing or not. I do personally still believe in the win-win scenario. I do, but not at the expense of you or your company or your margin or something you can't do. So saying yes to a situation that you can't do, let's say it's going to create a cash crunch. Let's say somebody says, well, we pay over 90 days. Like if your company can't float something for 90 days, or it's like it's just not good for the organization, or it just doesn't ebb and flow, or you're not structured that way. Like the 90-day thing or the 60, this is all made up, by the way. Companies just do this. This is attorneys that negotiated this stuff, right? And then they make it standard, like, oh, that's just what we do. It's like, name one business that you go to, and you don't go to your mortgage company and tell them the terms, right? You don't go to your credit card companies, these are my terms. They laugh you at the door, right? It's like, it's the same thing. So you have to hold steady and you have to hold firm. When you're selling a product, you have to hold firm. And the only reason anybody's ever buckled on that is because they're trying to make a sale, and they're trying to, like, the customer's always right, and they're trying to please their customer. Yeah. But quite frankly, the 60-day or 90-day terms with no credit check and all this nonsense, that shouldn't even be a thing. That only became a thing because there was some weaker salesperson online that was trying to make a sale happen, right? But like, it's like just terms alone I'm just talking about. But even this applies to price negotiations. This applies to all the different things that are relevant to closing. And it's up to you as a salesperson to hold the line where needed. I'm not saying be hard-headed. I'm saying, negotiate and make it a good deal and work to make a good deal and different things like that. But it has to be a good deal. Right, and if it goes outside of that good deal for either you or them, and it becomes funky, you have to protect that. You have to hold your position. You have to protect the organization, right? Which means you got to push back. You got to say no. You have to challenge it. You have to create a problem for them, and you have to stay in the cycle and stay the course until it's done. And the truth is, this piece of information will actually help you close more deals, even though it sounds very counterintuitive, and you think saying yes, okay, yes sir, yes, yes ma'am, yes, everything, like, we'll do it. Even though you may think that is going to be the best play, yeah, can we just get it signed? I'll do anything, just sign it. That may seem like the right play, but it's not. It's not. The pull away, the give and take, the reach and withdraw, the challenge a little bit, the knowing when to say no, the holding your position, a better way. It's going to increase the probability of getting closed. It's going to increase the relationship with the client, believe it or not. Always service them. Take care of them. Be cordial. I'm not saying be a jerk in any capacity. I don't want you to mistake me. Be professional. Be a pro. Bend over backwards for them. Service them. But hold the line on stuff like this. And know when to challenge them. Know when to push back. Know when to say no. And know when to stiffen the vertebrae. And you're going to get a better close. And your deals are going to be cleaner. And they're going to be more in line with what's good for you and what's good for the company.
Yeah, and you know, we've seen it time and again, and I'm sure you have too. You could probably name it out where a deal was like, it wasn't right, and it wasn't right, and then what happens with in your production once that client gets over to your production, manners are already out.
Yeah.
And it's not because you've signed up someone who has a bad heart or bad intention. It's because they've already started down that path.
The deal came in dirty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's not just the idea of promoting behavior in a child or something like that. It's literally they start a human being will start to feel they should be treating a person that way.
Yeah.
When invited to hit, a person naturally has an impulse to continue to do so, even though they wouldn't do so in any normal circumstance. So when you keep manners in and you keep ethics in the first place, then it'll carry through your production and everything else. You'll have a client you'll want to re-sign.
Yeah.
You'll have somebody you want to keep.
Better relationship. Better relationship on your side, better relationship on their side.
Yeah, I mean, I have a fellow right now, and he's, we've been texting back and forth, and I've called, and he won't pick up the phone, but we've negotiated to a point where, look, I don't have any more margin that I can give, and it's just not right. And he's asking for even just a smidge more, and it's just not right. And so, he is welcome to take the proposal that I sent over to him, but short of that, we're not doing business.
You either close it the way it is, or you walk.
Yeah, it's at that point.
Yeah.
And I could go this little hair more, but it's not right. It's just not. It's not good.
And which, by the way, you always have to be willing to walk from a deal. And this is not like this tough guy approach or something. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying you got to know sometimes you have to be able to get up and walk from a deal.
Yeah.
And that's okay. And you get hell bent on closing, right? You get hell bent on like, man, I really want to close this. I've worked so hard. I've invested so much time in it. I get all that. Sometimes you have to be willing to walk.
Yeah, I've been on this guy for 2.5 weeks, texting and calling and emailing every single day.
Right. If you're willing to walk, you'll be amazed that the numbers of close, the probability of closing them will go up. So hopefully that helps. If you like it, make sure to subscribe to the channel there, and hit the like button and share it on social. We really appreciate watching. More coming at you soon.